If you're over 60, the innocent mistake of skipping this one fruit at breakfast could be silently robbing you of your muscle strength, your independence, and eventually, your ability to do the simple things you love. What I'm about to share might completely change how you think about aging and muscle health. I'm Dr. Helen Brooks, a geriatric medicine specialist, and over the past 20 years, I've treated thousands of patients struggling with muscle loss and frailty. What breaks my heart is that many of these cases could have been prevented or significantly improved with simple dietary changes that most people completely overlook. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I strongly recommend hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss another health tip made especially for you. If you find this video helpful, please leave your questions and video suggestions in the comments. I read every single one, and it helps me create more content to help people just like you. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 72-year-old retired teacher who came to my office last spring. She had always been active, walking every morning, tending her garden, playing with her grandchildren. But over 6 months, she noticed something terrifying. She struggled to open jars. Carrying grocery bags became exhausting. Getting up from her favorite chair required using her arms to push herself up. Her daughter noticed Margaret gripping the handrail tightly when climbing stairs, something she'd never done before. Margaret told me with tears in her eyes that she felt like her body was betraying her, and she was terrified of becoming a burden to her family. What Margaret didn't know was that she was experiencing sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and the solution was simpler than she ever imagined. Here's what most people don't understand about muscle loss as we age. Starting around age 30, we begin losing 3 to 8% of our muscle mass per decade. After 60, this process accelerates dramatically. But here's the crucial part that changes everything. This isn't inevitable, and it's not just about protein. There's a specific fruit that contains a powerhouse combination of nutrients that directly combat muscle breakdown while supporting muscle maintenance and growth. This fruit is packed with vitamin C, potassium, and unique compounds that protect muscle cells from the oxidative stress that accelerates muscle loss. The fruit I'm talking about is the humble orange. Yes, oranges. But before you think this is too simple to be true, let me explain the science that will blow your mind. When I explain this to my patients, I often see skepticism. An orange? Really? But here's what happens in your body that makes oranges so powerful for muscle preservation. As we age, our muscles face a triple threat. First, chronic inflammation increases throughout the body, creating an environment that breaks down muscle tissue faster than it can be rebuilt. Second, oxidative stress damages muscle cells at the cellular level, weakening their function and accelerating their death. Third, and this is critical, our bodies become less efficient at utilizing the protein we eat to build and maintain muscle. Oranges contain an extraordinary amount of vitamin C, and here's where it gets fascinating. Vitamin C is one of the most powerful antioxidants for protecting muscle tissue. Research has shown that people with higher vitamin C intake have significantly better muscle mass as they age. But it's not just about fighting free radicals. Vitamin C plays a direct role in the synthesis of collagen, which is a crucial structural protein in your muscles, tendons, and connective tissues. Without adequate collagen production, your muscles literally can't maintain their structure properly, leading to weakness and increased injury risk. But there's more. Vitamin C also helps your body absorb and utilize dietary protein more effectively. Think of it like this. You could be eating all the protein in the world, but without sufficient vitamin C, your body struggles to turn that protein into actual muscle tissue. It's like having all the building materials for a house but no way to put them together. Let me share Robert's story with you. Robert was a 68-year-old former construction worker who prided himself on his strength and independence. He'd built his own home, could fix anything, and never asked anyone for help. When he came to see me, he was frustrated and frankly, scared. He told me he'd been eating more protein, even started buying expensive protein powders, but he kept getting weaker. His handshake, once firm and strong, had become noticeably weaker. He'd recently dropped a hammer while working on a project, something that had never happened before. His wife mentioned he'd given up on certain household repairs he used to do easily. When I asked about his diet, Robert admitted he rarely ate fruits or vegetables. He focused entirely on meat, eggs, and protein shakes, thinking that's all he needed for muscle strength. His vitamin C levels were severely depleted. I had Robert start eating 2 oranges every day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Within 3 months, Robert came back to my office with a completely different energy. His grip strength had measurably improved. He told me with a huge smile that he'd recently helped his son move furniture and kept up with guys 20 years younger. His wife said he seemed to have his old confidence back. If you're still watching and finding this information valuable, comment yes below to show me you're paying attention and want more content like this. Now, let's talk about potassium, because this is where oranges become even more impressive for muscle health. Each medium orange contains about 200 milligrams of potassium, and potassium is absolutely essential for muscle function. Here's what happens. Potassium works with sodium to create the electrical signals that make your muscles contract. Without adequate potassium, your muscles literally can't receive the signals from your brain properly. This leads to muscle weakness, cramps, and that heavy, fatigued feeling that many older adults experience but dismiss as normal aging. But potassium does something else that's critically important for preventing muscle loss. It helps maintain the pH balance in your body, keeping your blood slightly alkaline. When your body becomes too acidic, which happens with many modern diets high in processed foods and low in fruits, your body actually breaks down muscle tissue to neutralize the acid. It's using your own muscles as a buffer. By eating potassium-rich foods like oranges, you protect your muscles from being cannibalized by your own body's attempt to maintain pH balance. I remember Dorothy, a 75-year-old woman who loved to dance. She'd been dancing her whole life, everything from ballroom to line dancing at the community center. But she started experiencing severe leg cramps, especially at night. She'd wake up crying from the pain, her calf muscles locked in painful spasms. During the day, her legs felt weak and heavy. She stopped going to her dance classes because she was afraid of cramping up in front of everyone, which was breaking her heart because dancing was her joy, her social life, her identity. When I tested Dorothy's potassium levels, they were borderline low. She wasn't eating much fruit because she'd been told to avoid sugar, and she mistakenly thought all fruits were bad for her. I explained the difference between natural fruit sugars consumed with fiber and nutrients versus processed sugars. I had Dorothy start eating oranges daily, along with other potassium-rich foods. Within 2 weeks, her nighttime cramps virtually disappeared. After a month, she had the strength and confidence to return to her dance classes. She later told me that her dance instructor commented on how much stronger and more graceful she looked. Dorothy said it felt like she'd gotten years of her life back. But if what I've shared so far has impressed you, wait until you hear about the flavonoids in oranges and what they do for your muscles. Oranges contain powerful plant compounds called hesperidin and naringenin. These flavonoids have remarkable anti-inflammatory properties that specifically benefit muscle tissue. Here's why this matters so much as we age. Chronic low-grade inflammation, what scientists call inflammaging, is one of the primary drivers of muscle loss in older adults. This inflammation doesn't cause obvious symptoms like a fever or swelling. Instead, it silently damages your muscle fibers day after day, year after year. The flavonoids in oranges work at the cellular level to reduce this inflammation. They actually suppress the inflammatory signaling molecules that tell your body to break down muscle tissue. At the same time, they enhance the signaling pathways that promote muscle maintenance and repair. It's like having bodyguards that protect your muscle cells while also having construction workers that repair any damage. These same flavonoids also improve blood flow throughout your body, including to your muscles. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients reach your muscle tissue, and waste products are removed more efficiently. This translates directly to better muscle function, less fatigue, and faster recovery when you do physical activities. Let me tell you about Frank, a 65-year-old man who'd been experiencing what he called exercise intolerance. Frank had always stayed active, but over the past year, any physical activity left him exhausted for days. He'd try to work in his yard, and the next day he could barely get out of bed. His muscles felt sore and weak, not the good kind of sore from a workout, but a deep, persistent achiness that wouldn't go away. He started declining invitations from friends to go hiking or play golf because he knew he'd pay for it afterward. His doctor ran tests for various conditions, but everything came back normal. Frank was becoming depressed, feeling like his active life was over. When Frank came to see me, I noticed markers of inflammation in his blood work, even though they weren't high enough to indicate a specific disease. I talked to him about his diet, and like many men his age, Frank lived mostly on meat, potatoes, and bread. Fruits were something he'd have occasionally at best. I created a nutrition plan for Frank that included 2 oranges every day, along with other anti-inflammatory foods. I also had him start a gentle, progressive exercise routine. The transformation was remarkable. Within 6 weeks, Frank reported that his recovery time after activities had dramatically improved. After 8 weeks, he went on a day-long hiking trip with friends and felt great the next day, something he hadn't been able to do in over a year. His wife said Frank seemed 10 years younger, full of energy and enthusiasm. When I tested his inflammatory markers again after 3 months, they had decreased significantly. Frank told me that eating oranges seemed too simple to make such a difference, but he couldn't argue with the results. Now let's address something important. How many oranges should you eat, and when? Based on my clinical experience and current nutritional science, I recommend 1 to 2 medium oranges per day for people over 60. The timing matters too. I suggest eating 1 orange in the morning, ideally with your breakfast. This gives you a vitamin C boost when your body needs it most for the day ahead, and it helps maximize protein absorption from your breakfast. If you're eating 2 oranges daily, have the second one in the afternoon or early evening. Here's a crucial point. Eat the whole orange, not just the juice. When you juice an orange, you lose most of the beneficial fiber, and you concentrate the natural sugars without the buffering effect of the fiber. The fiber in oranges actually slows down sugar absorption, preventing blood sugar spikes while delivering all those beneficial nutrients gradually. Plus, the act of chewing the orange segments gives your body better access to the flavonoids in the fruit's membranes. Some of my patients worry about the sugar content in oranges. Let me be clear about this. The natural sugars in a whole orange, consumed with all its fiber and nutrients, do not have the same effect on your body as processed sugars. A medium orange has about 12 grams of natural sugar, but it also has 3 grams of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and those powerful plant compounds we've discussed. The fiber actually helps regulate how your body processes the sugar. Unless you have specific dietary restrictions from your doctor, eating 1 to 2 whole oranges daily is perfectly safe and beneficial for most people over 60. Let me tell you about Helen, a 70-year-old woman with type 2 diabetes who was afraid to eat any fruit because she thought it would spike her blood sugar. Helen's fear of fruit had led her to avoid it entirely for years. She focused on protein and vegetables but was experiencing significant muscle weakness. She struggled to carry her groceries, had difficulty standing up from low chairs, and her endurance was terrible. When she came to see me, her diabetes was actually well controlled with medication, but her muscle mass was critically low, which ironically was making her diabetes management harder because muscle tissue helps regulate blood sugar. I explained to Helen that avoiding all fruit wasn't necessary and was actually harming her health. We worked with her diabetes care team and introduced oranges into her diet carefully, monitoring her blood sugar response. What we found was that eating a whole orange with her breakfast, along with protein and some healthy fat, had minimal impact on her blood sugar levels. More importantly, over the next several months, Helen's muscle strength improved dramatically. She gained functional strength, her energy levels increased, and surprisingly, her blood sugar control actually got better, not worse. Her endocrinologist reduced one of her diabetes medications because her body was handling blood sugar more efficiently with her improved muscle mass. But there's another crucial aspect of oranges and muscle health that often gets overlooked: hydration. Oranges are about 87% water, and proper hydration is essential for muscle function. Dehydrated muscles don't work properly. They're weaker, more prone to cramping, and recover more slowly from activity. Many older adults are chronically mildly dehydrated without realizing it because the thirst sensation decreases with age. By eating oranges regularly, you're not just getting vitamins and minerals, you're also supporting proper hydration, which directly impacts muscle function. The membranes and white pith of oranges, the parts many people discard, are actually incredibly valuable. They contain the highest concentrations of flavonoids and additional fiber. I encourage my patients to eat as much of the pith as they can tolerate. Yes, it's a bit bitter, but those bitter compounds are exactly what deliver some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory benefits. If you found this information eye-opening and want to ensure you don't miss future videos, make sure you're subscribed and hit the like button to help more people discover this information. Now let's talk about combining oranges with other foods for maximum muscle protection. The nutrients in oranges work synergistically with other nutrients, meaning they enhance each other's effects. For optimal muscle health, I recommend eating your oranges alongside good protein sources. The vitamin C in the orange will help your body utilize that protein more effectively for muscle maintenance. For breakfast, try having an orange with eggs or Greek yogurt. The combination is powerful. You get high-quality protein for muscle building, healthy fats for nutrient absorption, and all the beneficial compounds from the orange to protect and support your muscle tissue. For a snack, pair orange segments with a handful of nuts. The vitamin C will also help your body absorb the iron from the nuts if they're iron-rich varieties like cashews or almonds, and iron is important for muscle function because it helps deliver oxygen to your muscle cells. There's also fascinating research about vitamin C and exercise response in older adults. Studies have shown that people over 60 who consume adequate vitamin C have better muscle recovery after exercise and less exercise-induced oxidative damage. This means that if you're trying to build or maintain muscle through strength training or other exercise, which you absolutely should be doing, having oranges in your diet can help you get better results from your efforts and recover more comfortably. Let me share Thomas's experience. Thomas was a 63-year-old man who'd recently started working with a personal trainer because his doctor warned him about declining muscle mass and bone density. Thomas was committed and showed up to every training session, but he felt terrible afterward. His muscles would be sore for 4 or 5 days after each workout, way longer than normal. He felt discouraged and was considering quitting because he thought maybe he was too old to build muscle. His trainer suggested he see me to make sure there wasn't an underlying health issue. When I evaluated Thomas, his baseline health was actually good. The problem was his recovery capacity. His diet was adequate in protein but severely lacking in antioxidants and vitamin C. I made several dietary changes for Thomas, with a key one being the addition of oranges daily, especially after his workouts. The difference was dramatic. Within 3 weeks, Thomas's recovery time shortened significantly. His muscle soreness became normal, lasting 1 to 2 days instead of nearly a week. He started to see actual muscle gains because his body could finally recover and adapt to his training. 6 months later, Thomas had gained noticeable muscle mass, his strength had increased substantially, and he told me he felt stronger than he had in 15 years. Let's also discuss the relationship between vitamin C deficiency and muscle loss, because this is more common than most people realize. Even mild subclinical vitamin C deficiency can contribute to accelerated muscle loss. Symptoms of marginal vitamin C deficiency are often subtle: excessive fatigue, weakness, poor wound healing, easy bruising, and joint pain. Many older adults have these symptoms and attribute them to normal aging when they're actually experiencing nutritional deficiency that's easily correctable. The beautiful thing about oranges is that they're affordable, available year-round in most places, easy to eat, portable, and delicious. They're not a supplement you have to remember to take, or an expensive superfood you can only find in specialty stores. They're just oranges, sitting in the produce section of any grocery store, waiting to help protect your muscle health. I also want to address concerns some people have about citrus and medications. It's true that grapefruit can interact with certain medications, but oranges do not have the same interactions. Oranges are safe to eat even if you're on statins, blood pressure medications, or most other common medications. However, if you're on any prescription medications, it's always wise to ask your pharmacist or doctor about potential food interactions, though problems with oranges are extremely rare. Now, I know some people will say they don't like oranges or have difficulty eating them. If you have arthritis or hand strength issues that make peeling oranges difficult, there are solutions. You can ask family members to peel several oranges at once and store them in the refrigerator for easy access throughout the day. You can buy pre-sectioned oranges in containers, though check that they don't have added sugars or preservatives. Some of my patients use orange peelers, simple little gadgets that make peeling much easier. The point is, don't let small obstacles prevent you from getting these powerful benefits. There's also the variety consideration. All oranges provide benefits, but some varieties are particularly good. Navel oranges are sweet, easy to peel, and seedless, making them ideal for daily eating. Caracara oranges are a type of navel orange with pinkish red flesh and slightly lower acidity, which some people find easier on their stomachs. Blood oranges have even higher levels of certain antioxidants due to their red pigmentation. Valencia oranges are juicier and excellent if you prefer more juice with your segments. The best orange is the one you'll actually eat consistently, so choose the variety you enjoy most. For those who travel frequently or have irregular schedules, planning is key. Take oranges with you when you're out for the day. They travel well and don't require refrigeration for several hours. When you're traveling, make oranges a priority item on your grocery list when you reach your destination. This one simple habit can help you maintain your muscle health even when the rest of your routine is disrupted. Let me emphasize something crucial here. While oranges are powerful for supporting muscle health, they're not a magic solution that works in isolation. They work best as part of an overall approach to maintaining muscle mass as you age. This approach includes eating adequate protein, engaging in regular strength training or resistance exercise, staying active throughout the day, getting enough sleep, managing stress, and staying hydrated. The oranges amplify and support these other healthy behaviors. Think of muscle health as a puzzle with multiple pieces. Protein is a piece, exercise is a piece, rest and recovery are pieces. Oranges provide several crucial pieces: the antioxidants that protect muscle cells, the vitamin C that helps utilize protein, the potassium that keeps muscles functioning properly, the anti-inflammatory compounds that prevent muscle breakdown, and the hydration that supports muscle performance. All these pieces work together to create the complete picture of healthy, strong muscles as you age. I also want to talk about realistic expectations. If you start eating oranges daily today, you won't wake up tomorrow with dramatically stronger muscles. This isn't about overnight transformation. It's about consistent, daily action that protects and preserves your muscle tissue over time. Some patients notice improvements in energy and recovery within weeks. Others see measurable strength gains over several months. The key is consistency and patience, trusting that you're giving your body what it needs to maintain the muscle you have and optimize your body's ability to build or rebuild muscle through activity. Here's something that might surprise you. It's never too late to start. I've had patients in their 80s start incorporating oranges and other positive changes who still experienced meaningful improvements in muscle function and quality of life. Your body retains the ability to respond to good nutrition and activity, even in advanced age. It might take longer, and the gains might be more modest than they would be for someone younger, but improvement is still absolutely possible. Sarah's story illustrates this beautifully. Sarah was 81 years old when her daughter brought her to see me. Sarah had become increasingly frail after a hospitalization for pneumonia the previous year. She'd lost significant weight and muscle mass during her illness and had never fully recovered. She was weak, tired constantly, and had given up most of her activities. Her family was worried she'd need to move to assisted living because she was struggling with basic daily tasks. Sarah herself was depressed and felt like she was just waiting to die. I won't pretend that oranges alone solved all of Sarah's problems, because they didn't. But they were an important part of her recovery plan. We worked on improving her overall nutrition, with special emphasis on protein and nutrient-dense foods like oranges. We started a very gentle exercise program. We addressed her depression and isolation. Over 6 months, Sarah slowly regained strength. She started cooking simple meals for herself again. She began walking short distances. Her energy improved. A year after that first appointment, Sarah was living independently, attending senior center activities, and had become a volunteer reading to children at the local library. She told me that taking control of her nutrition, including something as simple as eating oranges every day, made her feel like she had agency over her health again instead of being a passive victim of aging. So what should you do right now, today, with this information? First, if you're over 60 and you're not currently eating oranges regularly, start. Add 1 orange to your daily routine. Have it with breakfast or as a mid-morning snack. Make it a habit, something you do every single day. Second, pay attention to how you feel over the coming weeks and months. Notice your energy levels, your muscle endurance during activities, how quickly you recover after physical exertion. Third, make sure you're also eating adequate protein. A good general guideline for older adults is roughly 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, spread throughout the day. Fourth, if you're not currently doing any strength training or resistance exercise, start something, even if it's incredibly simple. Bodyweight exercises at home, light dumbbells, resistance bands, or working with a physical therapist or trainer. Your muscles need the stimulus of resistance to maintain and build strength. Fifth, talk to your doctor about your muscle health. Ask about having your muscle mass and strength assessed. This might include grip strength testing, walking speed assessment, or other functional measurements. Knowing where you stand helps you track improvements and identifies if you need additional interventions. Remember, muscle loss is not an inevitable part of aging that you simply have to accept. It's a process that can be slowed, stopped, and in many cases reversed with the right approach. You have more control over your muscle health than you probably realized. Something as accessible and simple as eating oranges every day can make a genuine difference in your strength, your function, your independence, and your quality of life. I've seen it happen hundreds of times in my practice. People who felt they were on an inevitable decline discovering that they could stabilize and improve. People who'd accepted weakness and limitation finding that they could push back against those limitations. People who'd given up activities they loved rediscovering the strength to do those things again. It's not always dramatic or fast, but it's real, and it's possible. Your body wants to be strong. It's designed to maintain muscle and function. When you give it the nutrients and stimulus it needs, it responds. The combination of regular oranges for their protective and supportive nutrients, adequate protein for muscle building, and regular resistance activity for muscle stimulus is a powerful trifecta that can transform your experience of aging. I hope this information empowers you to take action. Start with oranges. That's the simple, concrete step you can take today. Buy some oranges on your next trip to the store. Eat one tomorrow morning. Make it part of your routine. Then build from there, adding other positive habits over time. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss future videos on healthy aging and disease prevention. Share this video with anyone you know over 60 who could benefit from this information. Drop a comment below telling me if you're going to start eating oranges daily, or if you already do. Share your experience. Do you have questions about muscle health or aging? Leave those in the comments too, and I'll address them in future videos. Your engagement helps me understand what information you need most and helps this channel reach more people who could benefit. Remember, you have the power to influence your health trajectory. Small, consistent actions add up to significant results over time. Stay strong, stay nourished, and I'll see you in the next video.